think the most important thing with moving from product-centric to customer-centric is actually to figure out why you're doing it. And the reason that this is happening is actually that people are starting to come to realize that customers don't care really about financial products. What they actually care about is what those products do for them. So when you think about customer centricity, it's about building an experience which puts what the customer is trying to do first, and then you have the product underlying the experience. So at Bud, we care about something we call financial fulfillment. Now what that means is getting the right product to the right customer in the right experience. So there's a lot of different moving parts there, but we help customers find and discover products based off of their financial information, their data. Then they can quickly onboard to those products and use them in the experience where they already are, so typically the existing banking app. We do that through APIs and partnerships. And then the third part is actually building a new experience, which is customer-centric, which is goal-orientated first and then product usage second. So there might be multiple products being used in one experience, and we see that like a supply chain of products helping the customer to get to where they want to go. It's an interesting question around trust. So obviously we are a third party joining the experience and getting involved in the usage of data. Now, where we see it differently is because we're trying to introduce multiple third-party products, financial and non-financial, into the banking experience and fundamentally change what the bank service model looks like, then I think actually that changes the trust paradigm of the customer and the bank, because the customer should start to see the bank as the place to go to get things done, and the bank is simply helping the customer in a more holistic way, not just with their own product set. We start to see actually banks which have never before recommended third-party products that compete against their own because it's a better customer outcome. Then that is a massive shift in business models and trust. The way the banks look at it right now is they are competing against everyone, really. They're competing against large technology players for the time and attention of their customers. So what we're really trying to do is bring back a lot of that time and attention back to the banking app or through the voice channel by allowing the customer to do more things and be a more helpful experience. So, the way that changes is as you start to bring in third-party experiences and experiences that help you do things in your life, then you start to sort of recognize that, hey, when I think about what am I going to go do, I'm going to go on holiday or I'm going to buy a house, I begin that journey inside of my banking experience, and I do that end-to-end in the banking experience. So really that's around creating more engagement from existing bank users, as well as the banks we work with have the opportunity to actually onboard non-customers into those experiences, and without them having to actually acquire a banking product to begin with. We're a technology company of 25 people at the moment. We're growing very fast, but you look at these huge incumbent organizations and the processes they have in place, which I think are very important. They're the custodians of a lot of sensitive data. So going through that procurement process is making sure that we've really kicked the tires on our security. We're very keen on that, but making sure that we're ticking all those boxes with the bank. So that is a challenge in itself. I think a lot of the conversations we have with banks, it's about having upfront verbal contracts around, look, this is how our system works, this is what makes it successful, this is what makes it unsuccessful. Yeah, I think the main takeaway so far is that actually I think we're in the biggest time of change in financial services. That's why all these startups, these hundreds and thousands of fintechs are popping up. Equally, it's actually that inflection point where banks are starting to understand that they really need to get innovation fast. So actually we're going to see a lot more collaboration. We already see a lot more fintechs beginning as B2B plays instead of pure B2C plays. That's definitely the way we've moved. So I think you're going to see a lot of change within the bank and a lot of third parties coming in and working with banks, which really can only drive efficiencies in the whole financial system and actually create better outcomes for customers.